And then we're really wanting to just kind of like win at Black Christmas. And so that really means kind of like maximizing just the potential of all of the retailers that we can be at during Christmas and really just saying, right, like we've done the best we can do or achieved the best that we can do in sort of like owning that Black gift wrap space during the holidays.
This is the Startup Junkies podcast. Hello, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome to another episode of the Startup Junkies podcast. Thank you for tuning in wherever and however you're tuning in from. My name is Daniel Kuntz, and I'm joined today with my co-host, Ty Steele.
Excited to be here.
Ty, how are you doing today?
I'm doing great. Weather's nice. Nice Friday afternoon. Looking forward to it.
Friday afternoon, I will tell you that.
Yes, it is.
Well, it is a fun Friday afternoon because we're joined here today by our new friends. They are the founders of Black Paper Party. We have Jasmine Hudson, Madia Willis, and Jaron Merchant. How are you guys doing today?
We're good. Thank you for having us.
Thank you so much for joining us. This is our first time we've actually ever had 3 guests on at the same time. So
This is exciting.
This is exciting. This is the first time for us. So I don't know who wants to take point here, but somebody give us a little background, the origin story of Black Paper Party.
I can do it. All right. So here we go. Picture it. Sicily. No, I'm joking. Okay. So we are a little over 5 years old now. We were founded in 2020, but the story kind of starts a little bit before then. So we actually started, kind of really took off around like the pandemic timeframe. So imagine everyone's sheltering in place, really kind of quarantined off from the rest of the world. And then over the summer, we have the murder of George Floyd. And essentially what we were trying to do as founders is create, and this is before we decided to found like a company. All we really wanted to do was create joy for our friends, family, and community. So over the summer, we were just like, what actually brings joy to people? And we realized we love Christmas. We love the holiday season. And we had enough time to actually pull something together by then. So we went ahead and kicked off some really great just illustrations, prints and patterns, and went on a print-on-demand service called Zazzle. And through Zazzle, we were able to really just see that we could gain some traction. There were more people than just our friends, family, and community that took to the ornaments and print-on-demand wrapping that we had. And honestly, we just kind of looked at each other, realizing that with our backgrounds, we actually have exactly what we need to bring this product to life for real and not just via print-on-demand. So we got on the horn, started kind of like sourcing our own products and built out the website and kind of built out what we needed to really bring the products to market. And then it has been exponential growth since then. We've been in over 7 retailers, over 20,000 points of distribution, and millions of products sold. So we scaled quickly, but it all started with wanting to bring joy, representation, and just belonging to our culture.
Yeah, well, you mentioned something that's actually a perfect elevator into my next question. You guys wanted to bring this joy, and then you realized you all had the backgrounds to get this thing done. I want to talk about your guys' backgrounds. And Madia, we'll start with you, and then we'll kind of go in a circle. Just tell us a little bit about your professional backgrounds, even your personal background. I want to hear, starting off, let's say the Madia story.
Yeah, so I grew up in PG County, Maryland, so East Coast girl. My family is also Liberian, so I'm first generation, West African. And that's important because we all have our flavor of the African diaspora too as founders, which helps make us unique. But we all met actually while living and working in Northwest Arkansas. So I, was a political science major in college and found my true passion, which is design, after creating a small clothing line and studying abroad after college. So I didn't go to law school. I decided to become a designer instead. I spent so I went to Columbia University, but I spent my master's studies at Drexel and then also at Philly U, which is the oldest textile university in the country. Um, I got an internship at Target, so I was in the ready to wear, doing print and pattern for the ready to wear and jewelry, accessories, and shoes team at Target. Um, so that was until 2014. I then started at Walmart on the girls team in 2016, where I met Jasmine and Jay, who were running a really cool kind of cultural what's happenings blogs in the city. So through my time at Walmart, I transitioned to product development and licensing and sourcing for girls. I also was heavily active in the leadership team of the African American Business Resource Group, where Jasmine and I also worked together very closely. So diversity sort of kind of brought us together as well. And then after my stint at Walmart, I transferred back to the East Coast at Five Below, where I was doing trend and product development and sourcing for the company in areas of the whole store, but ranging from creative, the stationery, the seasonal team, and the home team. So, kind of a general background of design, product development, sourcing, and licensing, honed at three major retailers, and then sort of very active in, employee resource group, African American employee resource groups as well. So that's kind of my professional background.
Yeah, sounds like you've done a lot of really cool stuff in your career so far.
Yes, design is my passion, and really combining that with merchandising is, I think one of my strengths.
Yeah, and I don't want to speak for you, but I would say it's probably the right call you didn't go to law school, right?
Yes, I agree. I agree. And I think I use my international development, international relations skills every day, speaking with and, cultivating relationships with new suppliers and, overseas factories. So definitely still using those skills.
Yeah, that's awesome. Well, we'll kick to you now, Jaron. Tell us a little bit about your background and kind of what Madia said. What's your flavor?
So my flavor, I'm originally from the U.S. Virgin Islands, St. Croix, the Big Island to be exact. Um, my background is mainly in arts and specifically in children's media. So I've worked with everyone from Netflix, Disney, Sesame Street. I've also worked with a lot of independent authors and publishing houses. I've worked with Macmillan Books. Um, I've even did a little bit of stuff for Marvel. I've worked on Disney Junior's Little Mermaid. And I have some other stuff coming down the pipeline. But yeah, I've always done children's media. I got my start doing children's books. And that eventually moved over to animation. So I do a lot of work in animation as well. And yeah, I've loved creating characters.
Yeah, that's so cool. Well, we'll now kick it back to Jasmine. Tell us a little bit about your background.
I'm just a girl from Ohio.
Just a girl from Ohio.
So studied e-commerce and supply chain management at Tennessee State University. I came over to Walmart right after graduation. A lot of my internships while in undergrad were in procurement and sourcing. But once I came over to Walmart, I started out in their kind of general accounting area, which was really interesting because I was kind of like a project manager doing Six Sigma work, but for general accounting, which was kind of weird. So I quickly moved over into merchandising, which I absolutely love. So started out in Cook and Dine, where we launched Pioneer Woman, and then went over into home decor when we had the viral sequin pillow that everyone would rub and was just, they call it like the mermaid pillow. Really enjoyed that. And then went over into kids crafts, where the slime craze kind of took over. So had a really great stint in merchandising. Absolutely loved the job. So all of that, and I call upon every single bit of that experience every single day as we work through Black Paper Party.
That's awesome. It sounds like you guys all have such awesome backgrounds. I was just curious. It seems like teamwork has been a huge part of y'all's success. What is it that each y'all are able to bring to the table that makes such a awesome team you guys have built to make such a great product?
Yeah, I would say initially, because it's changed a little bit, but initially, Jay did all of the illustrations. I did all of the print and pattern. So when our first product was just, wrapping paper, the real kind of magic, right, was using Jay's illustrations as motifs and my print and pattern development to put them into seamless repeats, which we could then print onto wrapping paper. So that was kind of like, initially like how the magic worked. And then Jasmine, as chief merchant, did all of the with her buying and planning background, right? Did all of the financial forecasting, all of the merchandising, assortment planning. She's our spreadsheet gal. um, and so I would say, it's and then, right, I sourced all of the, sourced all of our suppliers, using that sourcing background. And then I would say what's unique really, too, is that our second year of launching, we secured a license program. And so, kind of using also that licensing background to say, hey, like we can use licensing as a way to increase the depth and the breadth of how we enter the market and to kind of like reduce some barriers that typically exist for a startup. And so I would say, now I manage our licensing business, but we were able to secure licensing representation right away and sort of make headway at retail through licensing as well. So that's kind of how it all pans out. I would say these days, Jasmine is both chief merchant and chief marketing officer. So kind of the handling of all things e-commerce and sort of ad spend. I sort of still had licensing, CEO, and kind of creative, which we now sort of use an agency for, and a team of sort of illustrators. And Jay is on our board, and still a co-founder. So we've evolved.
It sounds like when you guys were sharing your backgrounds, I was like, this sounds like a perfect team. Like you all have like such different, but like perfectly fitting together. Like I think like synergy is a word I think of. Like I'm very impressed. You guys seem like a great team. Jaren, you do the illustrations. So you drew all of these?
Yep.
All these illustrations? I don't want to toot our own horns, but you have two guys in their 20s who do not wrap Christmas paper.
I think we did a pretty good job ourselves.
Give us scale of 1 to 10. How did we do on these?
It's perfect. It's perfect. It looks beautiful.
Thank you. We're like, I guess we're wrapping.
We'll have some props, have it up on the table with us.
This is a box of crackers. This is a coffee. And that's
popcorn. Microwave popcorn.
Yep.
You'd be surprised how many things aren't traditionally wrappable until it's time to wrap a gift.
Right? And until you need a prop for a podcast. It's like crackers. Your name's getting called. You're getting wrapped today. Thank you to Bank of America for sponsoring today's episode. As America's leading business lender, Bank of America is on your corner and in your corner. With over $65 million in business loans and numerous business specialists right here in Arkansas, Bank of America can help businesses thrive so communities prosper. What would you like the power to do? Learn more at bankofamerica.com/local businesses. Bank of America, official bank of the FIFA World Cup 2026. So, Jasmine, you talked earlier that you guys sell joy and you sell representation. As you guys have, the last 5 years grown so rapidly, how do you guys maintain that mission as you scale? Where you don't just become another wrapping paper company, but you keep that mission of joy and selling representation.
Yeah. I mean, we do it through one, the retailers that we partner with. So just in terms of mass retail in the market, are we partnering with those retailers that align with our core values? And then also, it's really just through our prints, patterns, and illustrations. When we put something out into the world, does it feel authentic? Does it bring smiles to the faces of our customers? And then, of course, in my wheelhouse is customer service as well. So all of the feedback that we get in the comments and the reviews on TikTok, is the overall sentiment happy? And so far, it's all been really, really good, and just nothing brings a bigger smile to my face than when a kid says, "Mommy, this looks like me," and we get that every single year.
That's so cool. It seems like, I mean, y'all have built awesome brand that people have loved, built a great community. What's something that maybe when building or still to this day that people might underestimate that maybe is brings a challenge that y'all face, and maybe it's online in your community or just the designs y'all come up with?
I think to start, a lot of people, when we were shopping around the idea, they were like, "Oh, do you think people really want to buy wrapping paper with black people and black characters on it?" And I was like, you'd be surprised of the black buying power and what they want."
hmm Yeah, and I'll kind of backpack off just the second part of his question. What are some of the challenges you faced in the past 5 years, and how do we overcome those?
Yeah, I think there's just so many challenges. I think, um, Jay spoke to just being able to articulate like the need for seasonal product that feels authentic and that people recognize themselves in. So, one, just kind of proving the demand and the business case. It has been challenging. I think too, I mean, from the pandemic supply chain issues, to then tariffs, to, kind of then the political situation that we're in. I think just navigating those challenges as a startup, um, bootstrapped, has just been, I think if we didn't have the backgrounds that we had, I don't think we would have made it the 5 years, to be honest. Just because we always like to say like we're just lethal enough to ask the right questions, like we know just enough to like ask the right questions, to gain the knowledge that we need to like keep moving forward. But, I think, the political and supply chain environment has just been very, very difficult to navigate. And then I think, capital challenges are, also very prominent, growing very quickly, um, proving the market, but then not necessarily, having the financing or the fundraising strategy, right, to scale per se. It, has been a challenge, one that we're navigating. But we face challenges, problem solving. Like we like to say now, like, what problem do we get to solve today, as opposed to like being surprised and disappointed when something uh, happens, because it literally like happens every day. It's just the nature, I guess, of being business owners.
Yeah, that you get to solve these challenges or these problems. That's such an awesome perspective when you're looking at things. Like, I feel like as an entrepreneur, you have to have that perspective, right?
You have to.
Yeah. Well, you guys mentioned earlier you're in 7 major retailers, correct?
We have been. I think now the number's 5.
4 or 5.
Yeah. So I think we started the ones were no longer in our Marmax group. So that's like your TJ Maxx, Marshalls, Cole, and then Kohl's. Um, and Target, but still maintain our presence at Walmart, Family Dollar, Dollar General, and Family Dollar.
Yeah, that's awesome. I mean, especially here in like Northwest Arkansas and working with so many small businesses, we see so many people spend, we send so many people spend their career trying to get into one major retailer, and that's like the big goal. Well, you guys started 5 years ago and you're already in, you said at one point it was seven. What did those conversations look like when you guys were starting to try to get into these retail stores? Did you go to them? Did they go to you? Like, what did that process look like?
So essentially, from a Macy's perspective, we got into Macy's through the Workshop at Macy's program. So we were the inaugural winners of the Macy's pitch competition. And from there, went into the it's like a offshoot, kind of like a flagship type of store. I forgot what it's called. The Macy's Market by Macy's, and then we scaled into stores and then .com. Walmart actually approached us, and then we launched at Walmart, which was incredible at 8 feet of space. But they kind of saw what we were doing, loved it, and reached out for a meeting. And then from there, we were able to kind of gain the interest of other retailers as well, like the Target. So Target came by way of the brand team. The brand team reached out to us. Essentially, moral of the story is that I don't think at any point we pitched a retailer. Most of them came to us either through like our connections or through our license partnerships.
hmm I mean, that's so unique. That just means that I think that speaks to what a great job you guys have done because Walmart doesn't reach out to people very often, and there's usually rounds and rounds of getting into Walmart and how difficult it is. We just know here in Northwest Arkansas. And I think that's just a testament to your guys' brand is them wanting you guys is so cool. And it's just awesome to hear.
No, yeah, I love I've talked about how your past 5 years and just that get to attitude with the challenges you face. But I'm curious on what do you think the next 5 years look like as you continue to build your brand and business?
Yeah, I think one of the things we're really excited about is optimizing blackpaperparty.com. So I think just in general, like the awareness of our brand, like we just have so many more households that we can touch and families who really aren't, aware of us. So I think really being able to take a really optimize like, that business is something we're excited about. We're looking into also some customization options too for our families, which we also hope to integrate into bpp.com. And then we're really wanting to just kind of like win at, Black Christmas. And so that really means kind of like maximizing just the potential of all of the retailers that we can be at during Christmas, trying to gain, linear footage, at retail and really just saying, right, like we've done the best we can do or achieve the best that we can do in sort of like owning that black gift wrap space during the holidays. And then the main thing is becoming an evergreen or like a everyday lifestyle brand. So it's kind of taking what representation means for Black women and Black families and saying, well, what is that? One of our favorite characters is Aunt Holly and Nana Claus. So it's like, what is Aunt Holly, sleeping in? What is she wearing? What does she smell like? Where is she traveling to? And sort of like personifying our characters and then creating products for them that live year round. And so we've kind of dipped our toe into that for seasons like Black History Month, but where we're having success selling hydration, bonnets, sleepwear, accessories, right? So what is that strategy both from a D2C and also license perspective look like year round. So those are some of the things we're leaning into.
Yeah. It seems like you guys have an exciting 5 years ahead of you. We're, like I say, I'm excited to see what's next for the
I'm
brand.
looking forward to it.
So the way we kind of like to wrap up these episodes, we just took a look into the future, but let's take a look into the past. If you guys had a time machine, and Madia, we'll just start with you. If you had a time machine, you can give Madia, younger Madia, a piece of advice. It could be Madia from yesterday or from 15 years ago. What would you tell your younger self?
Wow. I would tell my younger self to dream big, that you're not limited by the careers of, lawyer or doctor. um, that there's a wide world out there where you can craft what you want your future and career to be, and that money is not the end game, right? Like money will come when your passion aligns with your purpose, like, and it's something that people need. So I just wish I knew what design options and career options were out there in merchandising, right? I had no idea what product development, merchandising, trend forecasting, like I had no idea what any of those were when I was in high school. You know what I mean? And I could have, I would have sought out, it leaned into my creative side. Like I wouldn't even have called myself an artist or a creative until I graduated from college. And it's just not anything that I really knew how to nurture, had anyone, in my immediate environment to expose me to. So I think that's the advice that I would give.
Yeah, dream big. I love that. That's great advice. Jaren, we'll kick it to you now. What would you tell a younger Jaren?
Keep drawing your art. Your creativity is going to take you farther than you could imagine.
Jasmine, how about you? What would you tell yourself?
So I would honestly, growing up, I used to really want to be perceived as knowing exactly what I'm doing. And I think that prevented me from from asking a lot more questions. I was a sponge, but it will be through observation. And I feel as though what I would tell myself, younger me, would be to be 10 times more inquisitive, ask all of the questions, like so annoyingly, like why on a lot of things, to just make sure like I can unlock, certain levels of just either best practices, mistakes others have made that I don't need to make firsthand, ways that people kind of either tap into their creative side or the ways they tap into their analytical side. It's just, I feel as though I could have asked so many more questions. And right now I'm very, very inquisitive and I want to know how the sausage is made. So if I would have employed that a lot earlier, I think that there's a lot of things I probably could have avoided in my adult years if I would have just hadn't had the fear of being perceived as not knowing.
Yeah, ask more questions. That's awesome advice. Wow, 3 for 3 on the advice there.
Great advice
Yeah,
all
we're
around.
Yeah, that's awesome. Well, if any of our audience, our listeners, they want to learn more about you guys or Black Paper Party, where can they go?
Go to blackpaperparty.com on all socials.
Sweet. We'll make sure to link that in the description of the podcast. Well, thank you guys so much for joining us. This was a great episode.
Thanks for having us.
Yeah, it was a pleasure. We'll remind our listeners, our audience, to go check out the Black Paper Party and to follow the Startup Junkies podcast on Apple Podcasts, Spotify, and YouTube. If you enjoyed this episode, make sure to share with a friend. Subscribe and review because it matters to us and we want to hear from you. If you're interested in learning how to work with us, check out the information below. See you next week.